Glad to have you join us back. Straight ahead, we move to a newspaper review where we'll be reviewing top stories on our national dailies. And as usual, we kickstart with the Daily Trust. And the bolder headline states how Ajibade Alozie fired Nigeria into WAFCON finals. Can read the story on pages 3 and 4 of the Daily Trust newspaper. National Assembly bars Natasha from resuming plenary. You can read the story on page 15 of the Daily Trust newspaper. Flood act now, northern leaders tell federal government. The story is on page 4 to 5 of the Daily Trust newspaper. And we have reps ask U.S. to restore 5-year visa policy for Nigerians. You can read the story also on page 4 to 5 of the Daily Trust newspaper. And just below the bolder headlines, we have 8 months after missing child reunites with mother. You can read the story on page 24 of the Daily Trust newspaper. And also we have lawmakers indict 31 MDAs, ask EFCC to recover 103 billion naira, which is equivalent to $950,000. We also have why Tinubu is yet to appoint ambassadors. You can read the story on page 4 to 5 of the Daily Trust newspaper. Do well to get yourself a copy for more stories.
All right, next up, we have the Guardian newspaper. Right in front, we have suspense as Tinubu APC neck meet over zoning and new chairman. That is on page 6 of the Guardian newspaper. At the top left, we have Nigeria loses $18 billion to multinationals, tax evasion yearly. 210 trillion naira scandal. Senate accuses NNPCL GCEO of defiance, gives 24-hour ultimatum. That is on page 5 of the Guardian newspaper. You have Benue killings, 3,160 displaced, 48 homes destroyed, says federal government. Senate approves Tinubu's $21.8 billion loan plan, 758 billion naira pension bond amid soaring debt concerns. The ICC renovation and renaming of public assets. Reps consider restricting politicians' families to public hospitals and schools. That's on page 3 of the Guardian newspaper. We have stakeholders warn of setback for Nigeria, Africa as US exits UNESCO. At the bottom, we have tension as security operatives deny Natasha access to National Assembly. That is on page 29 of the Guardian newspaper.
All right, then, that is all we have for you this morning on the newspaper review. Joining us to review our national dailies is the former director of Voice of Nigeria, Dr. Ben Shamak. Thank you so much for joining us this morning. It's always a pleasure having you on the newspaper review.
Thank you very much. Even though I'm not yet in a haste to be a doctor, okay. I've not finished my research.
Thank you so much. So let's jump quickly. Okay, it was, a very beautiful one yesterday for the Super Falcons, and I was super excited. Nigerians are excited. So kindly share your thoughts on the Super Falcons win yesterday. I mean, it's one of the bolder headlines on the Daily Trust this morning.
I tell you, only those with bad belly, as they put it in Nigeria, will not be happy as to what happened yesterday. And it showed we can do it. There was unity, irrespective of religion, tribe, creed, region. We all were one, and it's still up to the finals. We are one. Now, when you compare that with the political class, they are busy tearing themselves away. The girls are busy uniting this country via football, and it has always been so. So I think that time has come that we learn what is happening via football. And when I say we, I mean Nigerians. And therefore, we are hoping that they'll bring the cup. And in bringing the cup, we also pray that the Nigerian government will reward them very well and handsomely too, because These are standard bearers when it comes to the foreign policy trust of Nigeria, image making of Nigeria. I mean, because of these girls, Nigeria has become the talk of the town, the talk of the world, so to speak, positively. So I think that we should reward them very well, even as again we go praying that yes, they win finally and bring the cup.
All right. Moving on, right on Daily Trust, we have National Assembly bars Natasha from resuming plenary, and it's just been going on, and there's been back and forth them saying that there isn't a stipulation that they have to allow her to be back, and I would say she's giving them a run for their money. What is your take on that? All right, do we still have Ben Shamang on the line? All right, we lost Ben Shamang. We're talking about Natasha, as I said earlier, she's giving them a run for their money, and it seems like she's going stubborn. All right, Mr. Ben Shamang, thank you for joining us again. I was talking about the National Assembly barring Natasha from resuming the plenary. What is your take on that?
Yeah, you see, yes, you see, the judgment appears to have too many interpretations. To her, she's convinced she ought to have a resume based on the judgment by Justice Binta Nyako. And armed with that, she felt she should go. And her loyalists also felt that they should support her and escort her to the parliament. But you see, the lawmakers are also saying that it wasn't a judgment, rather it was an opinion by the judge. And to them, they're saying that there's no arm of the executive or the judiciary that can hinder the lawmakers from making bylaws as to how they conduct their affairs, as to how members of parliament should conduct themselves. And anybody who goes contrary must have some sanctions. And to them, Natasha went against what was spelled out. But again, in doing that, the judge or the court is also saying that it also means that a part of Nigeria is not being represented because of this kind of law. So we're waiting to see. I can hear that Natasha is saying she will not write any apology. She will rather wait till the mandatory 6 months will come and lapse before she resumes. But is it that the law will also say that even when the 6 months have come and gone, she still has to write that apology? And she's insisting that she's not going to write anything because she did no wrong. And so we wait to see. But one is worried again as to how those in high authority, the lawmakers, engage in some show of shame, dancing naked in the marketplace. I think it's not a good omen for us. Even when the footballers are making us happy and bringing the image of Nigeria positively back home, see what is happening with the lawmakers.
All right, now, we've seen, the flood alerts, and then Northern elders are calling on the federal government to act now, which is a very, very, important call. What are your thoughts on that?
Sorry, I didn't get that question. It appears the volume over there was brought down.
Okay, can you hear me now?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay. All right, then. Let's look at, the flood alert, that has been released. And, Northern elders are calling on the federal government to act now, which, of course, is a very, very important call, being that we've seen, what, this menace has caused in, some parts of, some states in Nigeria. What are your thoughts on that?
Yes, you see, I would not call it being proactive. To be proactive would have started in the dry season. It's not when we are neck deep inside the rainy season. We've seen some floods in Niger State, and we've seen how many lives got missing. They can't say exactly how many people died in that single incident. And now we're talking about government take action, government take action. The northern elders, the northern elite, or whoever is feeling concerned about the environment when it comes to this kind of natural disasters, I think the action ought to have been taken long ago, right from the dry season. We'll begin to say this is what is supposed to be done. And in terms of being proactive, therefore, we must have seen the warning signals, and in seeing the warning signals via NIMET, I mean, government begin to take action immediately. So we expect that government should also not just be waiting, buying relief materials, blankets, nails and zinc, and timber here and there, to say they have been humanistic in approach to these problems. I think that it ought to have been done right from dry season. It's just like when we're talking about farming, as it is now, you see government saying they are thinking of how to go and buy fertilizer to supply to farmers, when they should have done that right from the dry season. So I think that even though, yes, we can still redeem the situation, but Nigerians too should also take caution by themselves. They must not wait till it happens and they begin to get relief materials or palliatives and begin to blame government for their plights. At the point of buying plots, at the point of siting your houses, you ought to have known, interpret the situation. Is there a stream, a river, or is there an estuary, or is there a place where rain can just come in a valley and occupy your space? Like Fela will say, water no get enemy, and water will always find its level. You don't stop its course. You do that, it's temporary, and when it comes with force, it will take its natural course.
All right, let's look at the Guardian newspaper with this top story. It says suspense as Tinubu APC neck meet over zoning and new chairman. What is your take on it, and how do you think it is going to play out?
Yes, even though we are talking about APC, but let us learn from what is happening with PDP. It was because of this same zoning formula that destroyed PDP from 2027, and up to now it has not found its bearing, even though it's now saying that they have done the zoning to the south. Therefore, the PDP candidate will slug it out with the southern candidate of APC. Therefore, APC is now looking at it. Now you have the chairman, former chairman, former governor of Kano State, gone. Now you have the acting, who is from northeastern part of the country, and you have the VP coming from that place. Now they have to be very careful, distribute it very well. Should the chairman come from that state, so if it comes from that state with the VP, the zoning formula can cause some wahala. Therefore, they might shift a bit. Will you want to take it if it is in the north, if it belongs to the north generally? Will it come to North Central, as we have Al Makura, who is yearning, aspiring, wishing, and working for quietly behind the scene to ensure that he becomes the national chairman? If he does so, now you see the position of Shetima is not in doubt, even though, as they are saying, APC is saying it's the right of the president to choose whoever is going to be his running mate. But you can see that the people of the Northeast, via what happened in Gombe about 2 months ago, they're saying that Shetima remains a factor. At the point, some people are even saying that now that Buhari is gone, Shetima might be the rallying point of the northern politician. That is left to be seen. And we therefore wait to see his political prowess. Can he gather momentum? Can he move? Can he gather the voters, the population needed by APC to ensure that the teeming voters in the north are queuing behind him when it comes to APC? That we wait to see.
All right, thank you very much, Mr. Shabang, for all the contributions and analysing all the top stories that we saw at the front pages of our national dailies.
Thank you for having me.
All right, but apologies, we could take another one on The Guardian as well. Mimina, we could look at the senator.
Yes, we could look at the Senate. You know, it's really very important. Senator approves Tinubu's $21.8 billion loan plan, 758 billion naira pension board amid soaring debt concerns. What are your thoughts on that?
Impressed as to what the Senate is doing. If you like, you prop from here to, I have not seen the result of all those props. You don't just say you want to be busy and you shout and we are now discussing them. If they are not, if they don't know what they are doing, they should just leave that scene honestly. Where were they when NNPC went debt? Up to now, they are pumping money. The same Senate that will do appropriation of money for maintenance of refineries. Where are they working? You know, we don't see them. But the same Senate or National Assembly has been there all the while. When you have the military talking about they need equipment to fight this insurgency, where have they been all this while? When we're talking about lecturers looking for their rights here and there, to ensure that education becomes the bedrock of Nigeria's development, where have the National Assembly been? Today, we're talking about the police going on strike, those looking for their rightful entitlements when they were in service in terms of pension. Today, they are in the streets fighting for that. Where is the Senate in all of that? Now you want to probe this, probe that. Okay, Tinubu will tell you some of those loans have gone into airport remodification. They will tell you it's going to railway. They will tell you it went to Lagos Calabar routes, of which even part of the Senate they were there to commission a portion of that road and many others. Some of them have been riding in the trains. So the executive will always tell you that. But why would they leave the very other key things and go into what they know is just a mere academic exercise? Just like they also said the judgment over Natasha was just an advisory. And I can see from Professor Odinaka, former chairman of Human Rights Commission, at the point he's even wondering, say, look at the police who are spraying tear gas on Nigerians. Today, they are protesting, and their fellow policemen are spraying tear gas at them. And so it also means that these same policemen who are throwing tear gas at their former colleagues will retire to join them in the streets to protest. Except otherwise, the National Assembly that is talking of probing loans also correct some of these abnormalities. If not, we are still a long way to go in terms of liberty, in terms of having it nice. Either you are police, civil servants, even if you don't work for the government, where are the roads? The roads do not belong to just civil servants. The railway does not belong to just civil servants. When you're talking about estates here in Abuja and many other places, I want to see the presence of government when it comes to water supply and all that stuff. Quite a lot of things for the Senate to do.
All right. Thank you so much for your contribution. Again, Mr. Sherman, it's always a pleasure to have you here.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
All right, that is all we have for Daybreak this morning. Make sure you tune in tomorrow morning at 8 a.m. so that you do not miss out on interesting and engaging conversations as well. And that is all for today. I am Hawa Ademikiawa. Thank you for being with us.
And I am Mimuna Bagudu.
Thank you.
Have a great day and stay safe.